As his presidency ended, George Washington collected his thoughts in his farewell address. The alternate domination of one faction over another, Washington wrote, is a frightful sort of despotism. In modern times, most Americans are familiar with two of those factions, Democrats on one side and Republicans on the other. Each party's nominee is gearing up for the general election, but they won't be the only ones on the ballot. Washington was the country's first and so far only independent president, but that could change. Millions of Americans are so-called independent voters, and they're up for grabs. They might stick with the major parties, or they could back independents like Cornel West and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., or Green Party candidate Jill Stein. According to polling by Gallup, 43% of U.S. adults identified as independents in 2023. Last year, these independent voters tended to lean more to the Republican Party than the Democratic Party, and that lean could prove to be decisive in 2024. Jeffrey Jones, Gallup senior editor, explained, in what is expected to be a close election contest, it is critical for each party, but especially Democrats, to nominate a candidate who can appeal to independent voters. And just how close could that election be? In critical states like Georgia, Arizona, and Wisconsin, it's just a few thousand votes. Narrow margins in these states and others propelled both President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump to the White House. Though Biden and Trump are on track to clinch their party's nominations, there are signs they may lack support from more independent-minded voters. In March, the New York Times estimated that, altogether, the average Biden protest vote stands at 13%. In other words, more than 1 in 10 votes cast in the Democratic primary have gone for someone other than Biden. The Times reports that figure is usually closer to 7%. For younger voters and voters from Muslim communities, staying independent is one way to express their frustration with Biden's policies, such as his response to the Israel-Hamas war. So, now may be the chance for independent candidates and the voters who support them. It wouldn't be without precedent. From Theodore Roosevelt to Eugene Debs and Ross Perot, independents have set their sights on the presidency. They've come close, but never won. Still, these votes could tip the balance of this year's election, a result we'll see come November. For Capitol News, this is Ethan Benn.